Today is Monday, September 18th, and we're a little bit delayed getting a quorum here today, but we will now call the Transportation and Commerce Committee meeting to order. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderwoman Tyus. Alderwoman Spencer.
Present.
Alderman Narayan. Alderwoman Velasquez.
Present.
Alderman Browning.
Present.
Chair Cone.
Present.
Alderwoman Tyus. Alderman Narayan. We have 4 present. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam President, or Madam Clerk. Gave you a little promotion there, Aura.
Yes, you did.
Good morning. Happy Monday.
Thank you.
So we have 2 board bills that are on our agenda today, but before we take those up, one, I do want to let folks know that I have an engagement at 11 o'clock that I'll need to leave at about 10 till to get to. But hopefully with these 2 items, we'll have the discussion that's necessary in order to move forward, and we'll kind of take it as we go. But the first official item that's on the agenda here is the approval of our meeting minutes from Tuesday, July 11th, 2023. I would entertain a motion on the approval of those minutes.
I move.
Is there a motion?
I make the motion, Chair.
Okay, it's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 8th Ward. Is there a second? Maybe this meeting won't go quite as fast as I was hoping it would. Do we have a second on our meeting minutes? Are there questions about the meeting minutes? Okay, it's been moved by the Alderman from the 9th.
Correct.
Or I'm sorry, moved by the Alderman from the 8th, seconded by the Alderman from the 9th, that we approve our meeting minutes. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Tyus. Alderwoman Spencer.
Aye.
Aye, you said?
Yes.
Alderman Narayan. Alderwoman Velasquez.
Aye. Sorry, I'm mute.
Alderman Browning.
Aye.
Chair Cone.
Aye.
Alderwoman Tyus. Alderman Narayan. We have 4 aye votes.
Okay. Madam Clerk, could you also please note that Alderman Narayan just joined? And with that, we have 2 board bills up for review this morning. Item number 1 is board bill number 88. I believe, Mr. Beckman, you are presenting on that bill this morning.
Yes, I am. I'm ready when the committee is.
We're ready. Go for it.
All right. Thank you. Good morning, committee members, and thanks for your time. We're here to request your approval of this ground lease and development agreement with the Boeing Company. Under the terms of this agreement, Boeing will lease and redevelop certain portions of city-owned property adjacent to our airfield for the purpose of aeronautical manufacturing. As of the effective date of this agreement, Boeing shall lease in phase 1 a total of approximately 158 acres of land, consisting of the Brownlee property and an eastern portion of the northern tract site of the former McDonnell Douglas manufacturing facilities. The sites in general are shown on this slide. If I can share screen, please.
STL TV, Madam Clerk, can you allow, there you go. We're seeing your emails right now.
Yeah, don't want that. Okay. Okay.
It's one way to sunshine them.
All right. So let's see. The sites in general are shown on this slide. So the northern tract site is utilized in both phase 1 and phase 2 of the agreement. The Brownlee site is leased in whole in phase 1. Additionally, phase 1 includes about 4 acres west of McDonald Boulevard, providing airfield access to taxiway Foxtrot. It's this little nub right here. Beginning on the effective date and ending on December 31, 2026, Boeing shall have the option to lease all or a portion of the western part of the northern track site. So this area kind of more over in here. Consisting of approximately 28 acres. The phase 2 development area currently contains one airport tenant. If Boeing's redevelopment plans necessitate the relocation of that tenant, Boeing shall pay an amount equal to or lesser the cost of the design and construction of a replacement facility, or $41.3 million. That would allow us to replace that facility in total. Relative to use, Boeing will construct and operate certain facilities related to their aviation and aerospace business with the intent of manufacturing defense aircraft. The initial ground rent for the Boeing property portion of the phase 1 development area will be 42 cents per square foot per year to commence 7 months after the effective date of the agreement, and complete rent will be phased in as site improvements are made. The initial ground rent for the northern tract portion of the phase 1 and phase 2 development area will be 30 cents per square foot to commence 7 months after the effective date of the agreement, and will also be phased in as the site improvements are made if the phase 2 development areas are exercised. The phase 1 revenue to the airport will be approximately $2.6 million annually upon the 31st month anniversary of the effective date of the beneficial occupancy of Boeing's improvements. The additional phase 2 revenue to the airport will be approximately $369,000 annually, also upon the 31st month anniversary of the effective date or beneficial occupancy. Both of these rates were based upon professional appraisals and negotiated with the lessee. The agreements contain standards CPI index rate escalations at 7 years and then every 5 years after that. Relative to term, the length of this ground lease is approximately 17 years, beginning on the effective date and ending on December 31, 2040. Boeing, at its sole option, may choose to extend the agreement for up to 6 additional option terms of 5 years each. The total term of the agreement with option terms is approximately 47 years. Boeing may terminate this agreement upon 90 days notice at any time prior to December 31, 2025. Boeing may also terminate its rights to portions of the Brownlee property at any time prior to December 31, 2028, providing that certain conditions related to the return portions are agreed to. Those would be a minimum of 20 acres suitable for other aeronautical development that we would have to mutually agree to. If Boeing terminates the entirety of the agreement or its rights to certain portions of phase 1 development area, as described above, Boeing will reimburse the city for reasonable cost incurred to restore the premises to a safe condition. The city and Boeing acknowledge that portions of the property in both proposed development phases have certain pre-existing environmental conditions to the extent that those pre-existing environmental conditions were caused by the city or a third-party tenant to the city. The city shall reimburse Boeing 50% of actual reasonable cost incurred in the remediation of those conditions, not to exceed amount of $2.5 million on either site. Prior to the expiration, early termination of the lease agreement, the city has the right to perform an environmental inspection of the premises. The lessee agrees to take any actions as may be required by law to clean up and remediate any environmental hazards caused by its occupancy of the premises. The city must obtain, in conjunction with Boeing, FAA approval of numerous aspects of the projects related to environmental planning, aviation safety, and financial compliance. These approvals are conditioned pardon me, condition precedent to the commencement of the Boeing improvements. Approvals of the Board of Estimate and Apportionment and the full Board of Aldermen are also required. We respectfully request that the TNC committee approve this redevelopment and lease agreement with the Boeing Corporation. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Beckman. Are there any other folks that are going to be presenting on the board bill from the airport today?
No, sir, there are not.
Okay, we'll go ahead and take questions from the committee then on anything related to Board Bill 88. Alderwoman Vice Chair Spencer.
I'm sorry, I don't have any questions at this time.
Okay, Alderwoman Tyus. Alderman Narayan.
No questions. Thank you.
Alderwoman Velasquez.
Thank you. Just a couple of questions. Sir, can you just talk a little bit about you mentioned something, if something happens, the city has to pay back at 50%. Can you just talk through a little bit more about that, and what that means for us new people, and what are the conditions that we would have to do that?
Sure. So if there are environmental conditions that are, caused by, previous non-Boeing occupants of these properties, the city and the Boeing organization will jointly participate in the cost to remediate those such that the development of the property can continue. It was the subject of much negotiation, and we believe that 50% split and capping the amount was a reasonable conclusion. The Brownlee property was a former residential area in former Berkeley High School. I think there's really limited opportunities for true hazards up there, but you could hit something like asbestos that wasn't properly disposed of, or something like that. The Northern Track site is a little more complicated in that it was the site of a former Boeing and McDonnell Douglas manufacturing facilities, and if it were proven that there was another third party other than Boeing that caused an issue up there, then we would also have to participate in those remedial costs.
And to your knowledge, it sounds like, it doesn't sound like you've identified any other third parties in this property as of today?
That is correct. I mean, it's the, until you excavate, you really don't know the true condition. We've done reasonable due diligence, as has Boeing, in terms of, borings and other phase 1 and phase 2 environmental assessment.
Committee Chair Cohen, I don't have any other questions at this time.
Okay, thank you, Alderwoman. Alderman Browning.
I don't have any questions at this time, but I do see that Alderwoman Spencer has her hand raised.
Okay, thank you. Vice Chair Spencer.
Thank you, Alderman Browning, and thank you, Alderman Cohen. I just had a follow-up question, and I apologize if I missed this at the beginning. Is this lease recommended by the Airport Commission and the Director of the Airport, Director Hamden-Brady?
Yes, ma'am. It was presented at a special session of Airport Commission, I think on August 9, and has been approved by those entities.
And
were
I'll
there
add,
any concerns
the airport.
Sorry, go ahead, Mr. Chair.
Sorry, I was just going to add that the director has actually asked for the hearing today because she would like to have this passed out so that Boeing, St. Louis County is also, as you may be aware, working on legislation around incentives. We're not part of that discussion in terms of the city itself. We're having discussions around the lease and whatnot because we own the airport. But Boeing would like to have both of the approvals from St. Louis City, St. Louis County included with their application to DOD with the federal government. And so she actually asked if we could have the hearing today so that we can try and get this passed out this month so that we could allow Boeing the opportunity to include it with their application to the feds.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And just for ultra clarification, I think we've all read about some of those discussions regarding the incentives in St. Louis County, those none of which would come from the city. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. That's all I had. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, are there any other questions from the committee? I see that we have another colleague on the line, Alderman Aldridge. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. No questions.
Okay. With that, I will entertain a motion on Board Bill number 88.
I move that we pass Board Bill 88 out of the transportation.
You have frozen. You're back.
I move that we pass Board Bill 88 to the full board for consideration with a due pass recommendation.
Second.
Been moved by the Alderwoman from the 8th Ward, seconded by the Alderman from the 9th Ward that we pass Board Bill 88 out of committee with a due pass recommendation.
Mr.
Madam
Cone,
Clerk, will you please?
Mr. Cone, Ms. Cone, I've been informed Browning has to show his face when he makes the vote.
Sorry, my camera is not focused on him.
Second.
Thank you.
It's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 8th, properly motioned by the Alderman from the 9th, seconded by the Alderman from the 9th that we pass Board Bill 88 with a due pass recommendation out to the full board. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Alderwoman Tyus. Alderwoman Spencer.
Aye.
Alderman Narayan.
Aye.
Alderwoman Velazquez.
Aye.
Alderman Browning.
Aye.
Chair Cone.
Aye.
Alderwoman Tyus. We have 5 aye votes.
Wonderful. Thank you all for your favorable consideration on Board Bill 88. The next board bill that's on our agenda this morning is Board Bill 89. And Mr. Rob Solinaro, I believe, is presenting on Board Bill number 89.
Good morning, Alderwoman, Alderman. We're requesting your approval today of a first amendment to the Eventco LLC concession agreement for vending services at St. Louis International Airport. This is placement and operation of different vending concession machines for the traveling public throughout the airport complex. Eventco LLC is a locally owned ACDBE firm owned by George and Jessica Frazier of St. Louis. This first amendment extends the agreement term 2 contract years to now end November 30th, 2025. The revenue to the airport is the minimum annual guarantee of $150,000 or the percentage fee of 30%. The MAG is also reset to the contract year 3 contract year of the MAG of the agreement. There's also, we're inserting now standard MAG abatement language. And this is in response to the COVID pandemic. And we've begun putting this in all our concession agreements that as a response to any decline in enplanements, the concession MAGs can also, minimum annual guarantees, can also reduce along with the enplanements once the decline in enplanements hits 30% or more. The First Amendment also adds an option for non-traditional vending machines at percentage fees to be negotiated. There's a lot of different automated retail out there that I think the concessionaire will be interested in putting into the airport and that we're interested in seeing. And this First Amendment will allow that sort of placement in a more profitable percentage fee for both the airport and the concessionaire. ACDBE utilization goal on the concession agreement is 18.75%. As I noted, the company is ACDBE certified, so our ACDBE utilization on this contract is 100%. The Director of Airports, Airport Commission have approved this, and we respectfully request the TNC Committee's approval of this First Amendment to the Evenco LLC concession agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Salarano. We'll take questions from the committee. Vice Chair Spencer.
Thank you, Chairman Cohen. My question is regarding, did this contract go out for bid? Was this is an extension of an existing contract, but if you could help us understand, if this went out for bid, why it did or did not, what's going on with that aspect of it?
It did not, and this is one of the companies that was hit by COVID particularly hard. So as their contract came up, we took a look at it, and we took a look at what they had done in the past and what the COVID impact was. And we did work with the company on a 2-year extension. Before that, it's important to note that the company that it did go out for bid in 2018, and they won that bid in a competitive bid process.
Okay, can you tell us where the company is located?
The company is located in St. Louis, and I don't have the exact address. I
But
can
they are
look for that.
They're a local company. Okay.
They're a local company.
Okay.
Yes, they're owned by George and Jessica Frazier, who do quite a bit of work, I know, at different locations throughout the St. Louis metro area.
Okay. So the extension would just be for 2 additional years, and then presumably we'd go out for bid again in 2025.
That's correct.
So thank you for the clarification. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Alderwoman Tyus. Alderman Narayan.
No questions. Thank you.
Alderwoman Velasquez.
No questions at this time.
Alderman Browning.
No questions. Thank you.
Okay, if there are no other questions, or I'm sorry, Alderman Aldridge, I know you're on the line.
No questions, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
If there are no other questions, I'll entertain a motion on Board Bill 89.
I move that we pass Board Bill 89 out of the Transportation and Commerce Committee with a do pass recommendation.
Second.
Is there a second? Great. It's been properly moved by the Alderman from the 9th Ward and seconded by the Alderman from the 4th Ward that we pass Board Bill 89 out with a do pass recommendation to the full Board of Aldermen. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Tyus, Alderwoman Spencer,
Aye.
Alderman Narayan,
Aye.
Alderwoman Velasquez,
Aye.
Alderman Browning,
Aye.
Chair Cone,
Aye.
Alderwoman Tyus. We have 5 aye votes.
All right, with that, you sustain the motion to pass Board Bill 88 or 89 out with the do pass recommendation. Appreciate your favorable time and consideration on that. I am just going back to the agenda here. We don't have any resolutions for review. Is there any discussion amongst the committee? Seeing no discussion, I don't have any announcements at this point in time. I have not heard from the Alderwoman of the, I think it's the 12th Ward, about being excused. So please mark her as an unexcused absence for the meeting today, Madam Clerk. And with
No.
that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move that we
So
adjourn.
moved.
Second,
Been moved by the alderman from the 4th ward, seconded by the alderman of the 6th ward, that we move to adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Committee stands adjourned. Thank you all for your time this morning.